Hi, I'm Andrew Kane, state politics editor at the Richmond Times-Dispatch. With me is my colleague, politics columnist Jeff Shapiro, and we're here to talk about some of the big events in politics in the last week, principally Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney dropping out of the race for governor and dropping down to run for lieutenant governor, and the ramifications of both of these decisions. So, Jeff, what are some of the factors that led the mayor to drop his campaign for governor?
Well, some of the immediate factors, of course, a fundraising disadvantage, also a disadvantage in polling. Spanberger was leading in both, 5-1 advantage in fundraising, depending on how one reads the polls. Clearly the preference or the emerging preference of Democratic primary voters. But I would suggest that there was a lot more on the line here. The mayor has had a difficult tenure, and I would say, in his defense, elective mayors since the restoration of the elective mayoralty in Richmond, they have had difficult mayoralties. It's local government. You're serving at a level closest to the people. One could produce a huge catalog of the challenges and problems that the city of Richmond faces and that Richmonders expect their mayor and their council members to address. And we've seen, ample evidence that they've had difficulty addressing them, whether it's the quality of the schools, though new schools have been built on Mayor Stoney's watch, the idea of improvement in economic expansion. There have been, 3 misses on big projects, whether it was that downtown redevelopment project, which included a sports arena, and then 2 goes at a casino. Not a great story to talk about with a statewide audience, and clearly ample ammunition for Abigail Spanberger.
Well, let's talk about the ripple effect of Mayor Stoney's decision on current and potential candidates for governor. First of all, what does this mean for Congresswoman Spanberger, who now sort of stands alone, for now at least, as the Democratic nominee for governor in 2025?
Well, as the putative nominee, I guess we can call her that, the presumed or presumptive nominee, she's got to spend a lot of time traveling the state, hanging out with people, getting to know folks beyond her immediate base, which is the Richmond suburbs and the surrounding countryside and the outer suburbs of Northern Virginia and surrounding countryside. These are regions that she has represented in Congress. Now, one of the advantages that she's had as a member of the House of Representatives is she's certainly gotten to know elective officials, legislators, local elective officials in those areas as a member of Congress. So she has a fairly decent grasp of what's going on and who makes things happen or not in those regions. But standing for governor of Virginia, an at-large border-to-border office, she's going to have to do a lot more of that. Now she has the time to do so. And she will have more time, since she is not opposed for the nomination, to concentrate on fundraising. Not that there isn't going to be a lot of national money available to the Democratic nominee for governor, and conversely, the Republican nominee for governor of Virginia in 2025.
And I wanted to talk about potential Republican candidates as well. As Jeff notes, Virginia and New Jersey are the only states that elect a governor the year after a presidential election, so both parties' nominees are going to have a lot of money, presumably. But we have 2 seasoned Republican office holders, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears, Attorney General Jason Miyares. Neither has tipped his or her hand on what they're going to do. Does the fact that Spanberger now stands as the only presumed Democratic candidate for governor, does that increase pressure on the Republicans to try to get this settled without a fight?
Well, one would think, but I don't know that fight is necessarily a problem. There have been contentious nomination fights in both parties over the years that have produced very strong winners. One of them is Glenn Youngkin. He came out of nowhere, armed with his mighty checkbook, to win a contested Republican nomination. I think it was one of 7 candidates. So competition is not necessarily a problem. Competition can be a problem if resources, i.e. money, is burned up and not replaced, and if the nominating contest proves to be more personal and more contentious than anticipated. But one of the things that Spanberger is going to be able to do, absent immediate Republican opposition, is not just talk about what she would like to do as governor, but also talk about what the incumbent is doing or not. Because clearly there's a lot of distress among Democrats, not surprisingly, that they've had to put up with a Republican governor for nearly 4 years. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Spanberger selectively engage, if I may use that term, Glenn Youngkin.
Now let's talk briefly about the ramifications for Mayor Stoney as he drops down to run for lieutenant governor. Some of the analysts have told us that this is not necessarily a slam dunk either, in that we have other prominent candidates who have announced or might soon announce. State Senator Aaron Rouse of Virginia Beach, perhaps Senator Ghazala Hashmi of Chesterfield, and we already have Dr. Babur Latif, who is an eye surgeon and chair of the Prince William County School Board up in Northern Virginia. So this sort of scrambles alliances a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And if this move had been made by LeVar Stoney, say, 3 months ago, it's entirely possible that nomination would have been locked down by him. But now there is this emerging field, Senator Hashmi, who is from the Richmond area, so that presents some complications for LeVar Stoney as well. Certainly had indicated that she was running, though now she's promising some announcement of sorts. It sounds as if she's going to go through with this. So it's, as you say, not a slam dunk, and certainly running for governor was not.
Now, we do have an example of a Richmond mayor who was able to sort of run this gauntlet. Tim Kaine went from mayor of Richmond to getting elected lieutenant governor in 2001 and governor in 2005. But if we look back, even for Kaine, he won the nomination for lieutenant governor by the skin of his teeth in a hotly contested primary. So this poses quite a challenge for Stoney.
Now, yes, and I think there's a big difference between a Mayor Kaine standing for statewide office in 2001 and a Mayor Stoney standing for statewide office in 2025. When Tim Kaine was the mayor of Richmond, it was a ceremonial position. Power was vested in council. Kaine was clearly the face and the voice of the city. He had pretty decent standing in the Richmond metropolitan area. And I think that was particularly evident in 2005 when he was the nominee for governor, and those early results, those always early results out of Chesterfield, indicated that he would lose the county, but only by 5,000 votes. This is a jurisdiction that was typically producing 2-to-1 majorities for Republicans. I think that had a lot to do with Kaine's favorable standing, but one shouldn't dismiss, as we've seen over the years, how places like Chesterfield, suburban, Republican, bedroom community, is becoming much bluer, much more sophisticated, much more national.
So there are going to be a lot of ramifications given Mayor Stoney's decision and the fallout. So I want to thank my colleague Jeff Shapiro for joining me, and we encourage all of you to continue following all the developments on richmond.com and in the Richmond Times-Dispatch.